pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to bring this Wednesday, October 23rd Salary Board meeting to order at 12:45 p.m. in the Commissioners' Conference Room. I'd like to make can I have a motion for the approval of the minutes?
I'll make a motion.
Can I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opportunity for the public to address the board?
Could I ask for a courtesy? I'm not on the agenda. I think I should have been, but I'm not. And I'm meeting a family at 1 o'clock. Can I address the board as a public official under that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
So for the past 3 years in our budget hearings, I have requested pay increases for my 2 deputy coroners and have not been unable to move that forward. My 2 deputy coroners are nationally certified by the American Board of Medical Legal Death Investigators. I have for you guys.
Jeez,
Oh! Hey, they'll be taking you next.
you can't carry yourself, brother.
Okay, did you get that? So this is a
Are you
sal-
okay?
Huh?
Are you okay?
Yeah. Microphone, not so bad. But this was a salary survey conducted by the Pennsylvania Coroners Association, the other Class 3 counties in Pennsylvania.
Mark, better check the plug.
The average salary for, the salary range for chief deputy coroners in Pennsylvania goes from 63,000 down to us at 31. And the same range for deputy coroners goes from 66 down to 28, which our other full-time deputy makes. All these other counties have 6, 7, 8, 9 deputy coroners. We have 3. We are charged with the responsibility of investigating every death in Lackawanna County, not every death, but most deaths in Lackawanna County that occur pre-hospital and also the hospital deaths. And our volume keeps going up every year. The drug deaths are killing us. We've authorized almost 1,700 cremations this year, which all require some degree of investigation because we have to obtain medical records to make sure we're cremating people that there's not an issue with. So we're covering 24/7, 365 days a year, like the 911 dispatchers and the sheriff's department, and our pay is woefully under what the average should be for other coroners in Pennsylvania. So I've asked for these increases each of the last 3 budget years. And then when I found out there was a salary board meeting today, and I'm not even included in it, I just would ask the commissioners if we can consider salary increases. I've suggested even stepping it over a couple years, but if we could increase my chief deputy to 48,000, and I asked for my other deputy for 46, even if we reclassified them as from coroners to death investigators, they're certified nationally to do that. I'm just asking you to consider it. I know, there's 15 other people on the agenda asking for similar things, and while I'm sure they're all deserving of it, I think this is something that has been overlooked by our county since I've been here.
What do they get paid?
29.
Where's he at here?
So whether you do that as a motion or under further consideration, I would expect consideration on that.
Well, what some of their offices do is where's Frank? What do you call that when you redistribute? You redistribute the salaries, right?
Trace.
So you just got a 4% raise,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
next year, what you could do is redistribute some of your raise to these employees.
Are you kidding me? Like,
No, Commissioner,
No,
you
he
can't do it.
can't?
No, that's
Isn't
that's
that his
earmarked for
office?
the elected officials.
They can't do that?
No.
Oh, sorry.
See you, Mark, for-
I'm saying our revenue from cremations alone would certainly cover the cost of those two adjustments. And that will only continue to go up as cremation becomes a very popular disposition for people who die in our county.
Can I ask you, did you get any funding from the federal government
No.
because of the opioid crisis?
No.
Are you trying to get funding from them?
We have got, let me back up. We have gotten a couple grants that cannot be used for salaries. We've used them for software upgrades and for processing data to report to these agencies. Cannot be used for salaries.
I'm not asking, but you're saying that the costs from your office have increased because of all the deaths from the opioid crisis, correct? Is that what you're saying?
And the
or no?
elderly population, yes.
So have you looked into getting any funding to help offset
There is no
those?
federal funding available. I'm very active in the Coroners Association. I'm working with 67 other counties that are in the same boat we are, except when it comes to salaries, they are way above what we get. And we have less deputies than any of them in the Class 3 counties.
I just wonder if Sandy would be, I mean, she's very good at that. Sandy's very good at.
I'd be glad to.
Yeah, you should ask her. She's very good, and she's got that new program. They might be able to come up with something that can.
Civets.
I would be glad to meet with her, but this is something that really needs to be addressed.
Right, well, if you have lower costs because of a grant coming in, then you can go ahead and, look at an increase in salaries. That's what we try and look for, is how can we increase the revenue there so that you can increase the salaries. Thank you.
We'll take it under consideration.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, juvenile probation, 19-3026.
Juvenile probation 193026, motion to change the title of secretary to clerk 2 with a starting salary of $31,366. Here to speak on this motion is court administrator Frank Castellano.
Thank you.
Good morning, Frank.
Good afternoon, members of the board.
Good afternoon.
On behalf of the Court of Common Pleas and specifically the Juvenile Probation Department, we respectfully request that a motion is made, seconded, and passed to change the title of one of our current positions in juvenile probation from secretary to clerk 2 with a starting salary of $31,366. As we explained at the work session last week, this is due to the recent departure of an individual who had been in the position classified as secretary. However, the work that she was doing and the work that needs to be done is far more appropriately classified as a clerk 2 with the appropriate salary that has been discussed. So again, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them in further detail, but this is our request today.
Okay. Does the board have any questions? Would you like to make the motion? We'd have the judge make the motion?
Yes, please.
Judge?
I would motion to accept the secretary from a title of secretary to clerk 2 with starting salary of $31,366.
Do I have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Information technology? Oh, no, this is, I'm looking at this. It's maintenance and human services.
Thank you, Commissioner. This is a motion to create one human services maintenance position at a salary of $30,053. Here to speak on this motion is Human Services Director Bill Browning.
Hi, Commissioners.
Bill.
This position would actually be fully funded by Human Services. The maximum expenditure would be 20%. It could potentially be lower if we're able to get approval from some of the other categoricals. So the maximum for that salary would be roughly $6,000. The position, though, would actually be supervised by the maintenance department and be part of that collective bargaining unit.
Okay, does the board have any questions?
Is that in their budget, Pat? Is that the one?
This
that's in their
was
budget?
within the budget, right?
Yes.
That's in their budget, okay.
Like to make the motion?
To make a motion for the human service maintenance.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
Area aging.
Wait, Bill, what is that covered by under that grant? 60%, did you say? it was covered?
It would be 80% reimbursement,
80%, thank you.
with the potential for even more, depending on some of the other categoricals.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Jason, how are you?
Well, how are you?
Area Agency on Aging, this is 193029. This is a motion to change the title of Program Assessor to Senior Center Services Director at a salary of $55,000. Here to speak on this motion is the Director of Aging, Area Agency on Aging, Jason Kavulich.
Good afternoon. I would just like to clarify it would be a salary range with a maximum salary of $55,000. The starting salary would be $40,000 for the position. So it would be a salary range from $40,000 to $55,000 depending on the applicant and their time with the agency. But this is an opportunity for us to actively manage our senior centers in a different way than we have traditionally. It will enable us to control funding and put more money into programming directly for seniors than overhead costs and salaries for providers.
I would ask Chairman to clarify that statement in the agenda item so that it does state that it's a range rather than at 55, and vote on it as such with the change
I could
implemented.
put that in the minutes, but in order for the seniority list, we have to have one set number.
But on the salary board meeting agenda, it should state 40 to 55, and then on this, we can put the 55. Correct?
Would you like to make the motion, Jason?
I would like to make a motion.
Yeah, if we can have, I would like to clarify that, though.
I would like,
Donnie?
Just amend the motion to change the title from Program Assessor to Senior Assessor Services Director, starting salary to range from $40,000 to $55,000.
Thank you.
That acceptable?
Yes, and I'll second that motion that you
Okay.
just made.
All in favor?
aye.
Aye. Trolley Museum, 193030.
Thank you, Commissioner. This is a motion to change the title of part-time ticket sales gift shop to Trolley Museum Coordinator at a starting salary of $26,145. Here to speak on this motion is Trolley Museum Manager Wayne Hillard.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. To handle the growth and the workload at the Trolley Museum, I'm requesting that we hire a full-time employee. In the past, we have struggled to meet the demands of our operation due to the increase of yearly attendance and the frequent special events to create more revenue. Since 2008, our yearly attendance has increased by 124%. Today, we offer over 17 special events for families, not counting occasional night events.
I would just like to say that the Trolley Museum has grown in leaps and bounds. They really have. It's really part of the quality of life of our community. It is family memories. Okay, would you like to make the motion?
Wayne, make the motion.
The motion?
I'd like to make a motion.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Congratulations, Wayne, and congratulations on your budget again. You deserve this.
Congratulations.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
District Attorney, 19-3031.
Thank you, Commissioner. This is a motion to increase the salaries of the following retro to October 1st, 2019. Juvenile Assistant DA from $42,025 to $45,000. DA Grants Booking Deputy DA from $62,359 to $64,000. Assistant DA from $42,025 to $45,000. Assistant DA from $43,050 to $45,000. Assistant DA from $42,025 to $45,000. Assistant DA from $43,050 to $45,000. Juvenile Deputy DA from $80,742 to $82,000. Here to speak on this motion is District Attorney Mark Powell.
Good afternoon, members of the board. I should note that all salary requests are within the 2019 operating budget. And with that said, I hereby motion formally for the passing of 19-3031.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Question?
On the question?
Will these all be getting a second raise in January? Will they be getting a raise in January then again? All these people?
I don't anticipate coming back in January with an additional request.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
I say no.
Thank you, Mark. Okay.
We do have another item on the agenda
I said no.
19-3032.
This is a motion to change the titles of the following: Assistant DA part-time to Senior Trial Counsel, Assistant DA to Deputy DA, Juvenile Case Manager to Administrative Secretary, Administrative Secretary to Juvenile Case Manager, Grant Assistant Secretary to Administrative Secretary. Here to speak once again is District Attorney Mark Powell.
Thank you. I hereby formally motion for the passing of 19-3032.
Can I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all.
Register rules.
19-3033, this is a motion to create a full-time guardian administrator to begin January 6, 2020, at a starting salary of $43,050. Here to speak on this motion is Register of Wills, Fran Kovaleski.
Good morning, everyone. To go back to a conversation that we had at the commissioners' meeting, I will say that the office runs in the black every year.
Thanks.
As I said earlier in the commissioners' meeting, there are times where the fees are not exactly what they were the year before, but then there are other years where it's more profitable than it was the year before that. To the guardianship administrator position, the Administrative Office of the Pennsylvania Courts in October of 17 had these mandates come down, of which the office staff, along with myself, could not handle the workload. I had come to the salary board and asked for a position, and now that the workload has increased twofold. We are in charge of taking a look at millions of dollars a year with the guardians' money, along with their physical health. All these reports come in, they have to be reviewed before we can accept them and tell the court that they're okay. There are people that don't file. Now we're into the point where we are going to have court hearings, and the preparation just for the court hearings. On November the 18th, I believe we have 30 citations that went out for people that are in non-compliance. So it is important that we review these, that we have the time to do this, and that's when I'm here. The workload is just more than we can handle.
We talked about this when it happened. I mean, I went over and I sat there and I listened to I sat through the whole entire program, and we did not have to accept, we didn't have to say yes to that questionnaire about do we review them. I don't know. I thought that this program was going to have to be set up, and you were going to have somebody merge the
that's
two
all
different
done.
programs, and then once that happened, that job was gone.
No.
But
That was just
I
the
knew
start.
that, and I said that. Remember, I warned you. That's not going to go away. You wait and see. They're going to keep that job, and it did. So now they're going to be reviewing these applications.
The mandate requires from the court system that we review these.
That's okay.
We are in Lackawanna County at this point is one of the highest in the state, of which we can all be very proud of being in compliance with what needs to be done. So much so that I am one of 3 that have been asked by Supreme Court Judge Paula Ott to be on a commission to review all of the reasons why we are in compliance and why other counties are not. One of my recommendations to this group will be they have to come up with some kind of funding. Now,
Well, that's a good recommendation to the state. I mean, I'm going to vote for your. I'm going to vote in favor of this, but I'm just saying that this is just
I
typical.
understand. It's frustrating for me as well.
So, thank you.
Okay.
The position would be starting in January of this coming year. Yeah.
Make a motion, Fran.
Can I have a motion to accept the salary of 43? I think it's 43.5.
Can I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks,
Thank
Ben.
you, everyone.
19-3034.
Thank you, Commissioner. This is Environmental Sustainability. A motion to change the salary of the Education Specialist Community Outreach from $25,000 to $40,000, letting the Commissioners know that it is being supported by the Solid Waste Authority to the tune of $2,000 being supporting this particular position, also taking on some of the responsibilities of secretarial work of the authority. Barbara Givignoli is not here to speak on this. I will answer all questions.
$2,000 a month, $24,000 total.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
We've been working on this for quite some time now.
Yep.
And Barbara will, as you know, will be retiring
Yes.
the end of December.
But are we getting, is this a second position after that?
No, ma'am.
No.
So we're,
This is strictly for the educational specialist community outreach.
because she said she wanted 2 positions.
This is just for this position right now, Commissioner.
We're, I'm gonna vote no on it anyway. I think it's ridiculous. All right, go ahead.
Okay,
So I will
Make the motion? Make the
make
motion?
the motion for the environmental sustainability educational specialist community outreach from $25,000 to $40,000.
could I have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Aye.
No, opposed.
It's 1 no. Okay, prison 19-3035.
Thank you, Commissioner. This is a motion to create a new position of clerical supervisor at a salary of $50,000 to begin January 6, 2020. Here to speak is Warden Tim Betty.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I just wanted to mention that this position is going to oversee and supervise our business department, our payroll and finance, and the clerical support at the prison. This individual is going to provide assistance to them because that's what a leader does. It assists those that are under them as well. And I'm hoping to get your okay, and with that, I'd like to make a motion to approve the creation.
Another question, is this a new position?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we discussed it at the budget meeting. Go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the creation of the position of clerical supervisor with a starting salary of $50,000 to be effective January 6th of 2020.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No. 1 no. Commissioner. Public Defender 19-3036.
Thank you, Commissioner. This is a motion to create 1 part-time assistant public defender at a starting salary of $28,000 to begin January 6, 2020. Here to speak on this motion is Public Defender Larry Moran.
Morning. Good afternoon, Larry.
Good afternoon, Commissioners and Mr. Controller. Thank you for allowing me to ask you to consider the creation of this new position. I must say, I come here to address this issue with some trepidation, not reluctance. I'm grateful for any additional staffing accommodations you make to our office, which are desperately needed. This person or this position is slated to be a part-time position, according to the information here, and I will do my level best to recruit someone who is going to be devoting time that's going to be, I think, effectively a full-time role. The board has been considerate enough recently to give me an additional part-time assistant, and we were able to recruit a very highly qualified individual, frankly, from the district attorney's office. And we're at a tremendous complement of staff now insofar as trials are concerned. My plan and hope and intention is for this position, and this will be the first time the Public Defender's Office is really doing this. I'm going to start to specialize my staff. And we have an abundance of homicide cases, murder cases and homicide cases. And it is my intention that this staff person will be exclusively assigned to assist in the defense of homicide and murder cases. That's a new change. Ideally, it would be ideally suited for a full-time person, but I'll do my best to find someone to take that role with that understanding, because the commitment of time is going to be enormous, because we have we need to specialize this in this way for this purpose, because it's not just the trial of these cases, but it's the appeals, the inevitable appeals that come when a person is convicted of homicide or murder. And I have to have part of that team handle the appeal, because we only have a part-time appellate lawyer as it is, and she handles the appeals for all the other cases in the office. So that's not my reluctance. It is with trepidation that I just hope that we can recruit an appropriately qualified person who's going to be willing to make that commitment, because it's going to be necessary to be made. So, having said that, I make the motion to create a part-time assistant public defender at a starting salary of $28,000 to begin January 6th, 2020.
Can I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye.
On the question,
On the
Commissioner,
question.
if you look, district attorneys' salaries are 42 to 45,000. You know, ADA, assistant DA from 42 to 45. And then you look over at the public defender's office and you're getting $28,000 for a lawyer. I understand why they can't work full-time, because they have to feed their families, but it's just, when you make that comparison, it's kind of obvious what you see happening. And I get the question all the time, why can't we get more funding? I get it all the time.
That's why we're trying to help.
And I you know, that's why we're voting on this stuff, but I do appreciate their work. Please tell them I do appreciate the work they're doing, and your work as well.
Thank you, Commissioner. And in light of what you just said, I just think permit me to make the observation that it's more than ironic that today, 5 minutes ago, the staff of the district attorney's office has been approved for raises that total approximately $16,000 by my poor mathematics. Raises for an existing staff, all of whom, and God bless them, they earn it, they work hard, they're entitled to those salaries. But we're looking at raises for people who are in salaries of $42,000 to $60,000. And they've been approved for about $16,000 to $17,000 in raises.
I voted no, but.
Pardon me?
I voted no, but.
But nevertheless,
They were approved.
that approval has been made. If I had $16,000 or $17,000 for another assistant to make full time, we could be really there'd be a balance, and it's out of whack. It just is, and I just think that's worth noting. And if I may, just on a personal note, I want to associate myself with your remarks about the issue that came up earlier about the jury and about changing the law. The genius of our Constitution, our criminal justice system, is undeniably the jury system. I speak as one of very few people who have successfully prosecuted murder cases and defended murder cases. And when I prosecuted successfully a murder case, I had to persuade 12 people to say guilty. And when I successfully defended homicide and murder cases, I had to persuade 12 people to say not guilty.
That's right.
And my only point in that is, you know, we have, in the role of the jury, the opportunity for the public to come in, not lawyers, not judges, people, our peers, so to speak, or the peers of the defendants. And the collective wisdom of 12 people is extraordinary. I've seen it work. And I would just make one final point on that. We should be tampering with the jury system.
That's right.
And we shouldn't
That's
be
my point,
we shouldn't
too.
be criticizing the jury
Thank
system.
Thank you.
And let me tell you, in the particular instance, my heart goes out to the people and anybody who suffers a loss. But you know, there are other components to it.
That's right.
Why pick on the juror? Okay, maybe the government didn't do their job in meeting their burden. Because remember, it's the government. When I was a prosecutor, it was my responsibility, and in that case, it was the United States Attorney's responsibility to persuade that jury, beyond a reasonable doubt, to convict that person and sentence him to death. I'm not criticizing that prosecutor, but you know, there are other areas you can look to, and you know, so it's that lone juror that held out, maybe out of conviction for whatever reason, shouldn't be the brunt of attack and assault. And we need to protect our jury system because it protects all of us. So
I'm with
I
you,
thank
brother.
you, Commissioner.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, and that's why
See,
I
the
asked
whole
them to take
idea
my
was-
name off of it.
Yeah, the whole idea was that
Thank you.
The reason why the person voted against it was basically because she felt sorry for the mother of the murderer, but that's neither here nor there right now. Okay, so we already voted that. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
I appreciate everyone's support.
Oh, thank you for all your work. I mean, you guys do a tremendous job over there for
Very kind of you to say.
$28,000
And
a year.
I want to just explain real quick,
pass
just
it on.
because we do have the viewing audience here. Mark Powell is within his budget that's been there for the
not
last 4
condemning
years.
them. It's
Yeah,
just-
it's
it's just
not.
the way
Yeah,
it
but
is
just, but
across
just so you know, you realize, we didn't approve, we approved it as salary board, his budget. That's his budget, so he can move that money around.
I'm just saying
You
it's
know,
ironic.
yeah.
I was just making the observation that it's
But
ironic.
this Board of Commissioners, has been proactive to try to make sure the public defender, we're trying to.
And I'm
rise them
grateful
up.
for it. That's why I say,
I've sat here in the past where it was just ran right over.
I'm the
believe
one
me.
that's sitting here saying that it's an unequal amount. It's me, nobody else. So they can all come and yell at me, okay?
I'm
So
grateful
don't
for
worry
the
about it.
support, believe me.
I think
And
that they do a tremendous job, and I just
I think
see
they do a
I
tremendous
just
job,
see the
too.
disparities there.
Mr. Moran can also present at the next salary board as well.
Sure you can.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for that. And I'd certainly welcome the opportunity to do that, Commissioners.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank
Thanks
you
for coming
very
in.
much.
Have a good one.
Okay, Commissioners, 19-3037.
This is a motion to create a new position of receptionist HR secretary at a salary of $44,000 to begin January 6th, 2020.
Would you make the motion?
So, yeah,
And this is to also help the HR department, that's
yes,
part of it.
yes, Commissioner,
This
that
was
is,
discussed at the budget
Yep.
meeting, too.
that is correct.
Well aware.
Well, I'm
That
sure if
is-
you're there.
That is correct. As you know, we're losing one of our gems that takes care of the
Isn't
front
that
desk, so.
terrible? That's terrible that we're losing him.
Yep,
Gerard
okay.
Hatman,
Second the motion.
Okay, I make a motion to create the new position of receptionist HR secretary at a salary of $44,000.
And we have the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Last but not least, and this was on the agenda, but the agenda changed a little bit. Do you want to step up to the podium real quick? When we left it, what's the circumstance on the HR, the IT person? We don't need the title change at this point?
Yeah, I stopped the title change. We looked deeper into it on departmental level, internally, and realized that the position is much better utilized as system support specialist than changing the role at this time. So that's.
No increase, nothing, it's as it was.
It stays as it was according to
salary.
the salary board, correct?
Okay, thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Okay, opportunity for the public to address the board? Members, other business?
Commissioner, I have members of their business. Just another commentary in regards to our policy of hiring. You know, we have a system in place, we've talked about it, the hiring goes through these big department heads, they have to go through a process where they go through HR and our chief of staff, and then they choose, 3 or 4 out of those, and then they come to us and we interview them. And we've interviewed multiple departments, like Barbara Durkin's department, she got her job through that process, mostly the department heads. But this idea that we can sit here, this is our salary board meeting. So this is where we create new positions, get rid of positions, vote down them. There is a board for that. This is where we actually decide on salaries, where we can bring this information up. But if we were to sit here and interview all the people that came in for an interview this week, there were 11 applicants that came in for interviews according to our HR department since the 2nd. And we have applications that come in on a daily basis, which I don't have those numbers because we have somebody that's out sick today. But I want people to understand that the commissioners sign off on all these hires, okay? So let me just show you the differerences.
Still saw the names.
I don't have any names showing.
Okay.
This is what I signed off on, and this is what I signed off on. There you go. Well, can't see the difference because of the staples, but there's a difference between a majority and minority. There's the majority and there's the minority. Right here. I got to sign off with him or him. You need 2 signatures. One of us has to sign it with the other one. You have to have 2 signatures of the commissioners. And that's after you go through HR, after you get your interviews, after you talk to the commissioners, and then you still have to get signatures and come to a meeting, and that's it. There is a process. There's a process. And all those people were interviewed in meetings either through HR or through the commissioners. Some of them were by departments. I could think of a bunch that we get to sign off on, and my commissioners can verify, in the summer positions, right? We get summer jobs for the kids,
Part-times, yeah.
part-time kids.
A little bit of everything, a little bit of everything,
So,
a lot of
You
sign-ups.
might have, what, 50 applicants come in for positions in the summer. Are we gonna sit here at this meeting and interview 50 kids to apply for these positions?
Commissioner's alluding to one of the candidates basically saying
Crazy.
that people should be interviewed in public, which would destroy the HR part.
Well, it's
completely.
labor and industry
Yeah.
wrong, it's
Yeah,
you can't.
you just
but-
can't do it.
But they don't know that.
But it's not possible, but the individual seemed to think that it
It's a
was.
lot of applicants, a lot of people, and a lot of hires.
Okay, members of the business, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Make that
Second.
motion.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Second, aye.
Jerry, please don't.